All right, ladies and gents. G'day guys, boys and girls, welcome. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to another edition of the London session. Without further ado, time to get this one on the road. As always guys, good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening, no matter where we are around the world. Yeah, apologies for not having the stream queuing. I totally didn't even realize I had it on set as a private stream, so I was about to stream to myself and wonder why there was no one on the stream. So anyway, we are here. Just noticed the last 2 minutes countdown really, but I hope you guys are doing well. Looking forward to seeing what we can come up with moving forward here today on the gold. The gold obviously has been shitting the bed a fair bit throughout the day. Been an interesting day. I've been watching it. Took entries on silver for some nice profits, which was called into the members group, but other than that, that's all I've done. That was during the early parts of the Asian session, and now obviously we're here to look at the gold and see what we can come up with moving forward. So that is what we will do. In the meantime guys, you guys know the drill. If you could, make sure to smash that like button, and if you have any charts, any questions, anything you'd like me to have a look at, please feel free to pop those into the chat. I'll get to you all shortly guys. Let's have a good one. Hopefully you can see me. I've got issues on my end. It's saying the stream is still loading, so if someone can just let me know if everything's all good, I'll continue once I know. So just quickly tell me guys if I've dropped out or if you guys still got me on the stream. Just let me know before I get started. Anyone? Just another g'day. See you? Okay, so that's fine. Thank you, Franco. Looks fine. Crispy Honeybee, thank you to you, and Tony Gold. To you. We'll get to you guys shortly. Anyway guys, let's take a look first of all at the news, and let's see what we got in the way of news moving forward here today. So that was obviously we had the bank holidays yesterday. Still obviously a Chinese bank holiday with the Chinese New Year. That will be the case throughout the whole week. Moving forward, we do have some high impact news for the pound. So anyone trading the pound, be very cautious of that. That is to come at the turn of the hour. So that is the amount of people claiming unemployment benefits. That is something to keep an eye on, and it is forecast to be more than the previous. So off the back of that, I would anticipate that to be a good thing for the pound. So anyone trading the pound, be wary of that. And even the euro, it's likely going to spike the spread on the euro and the pound at the same time. So just be a little bit wary of that. Moving forward though into today's proceedings, into MY session. Empire State Manufacturing Index could be considered red folder on other news providers, but otherwise pretty smooth sailing. But as you guys, as always mentioned, keep your finger on the pulse, because anything could break at any point in time. So the best way to do that is probably either having a bot or obviously financial juice, probably the better one for the breaking stuff. Forex Factory is good for the scheduled sort of events. Anyway guys, without further ado, let's have a look at the gold. Any charts, any questions, pop those into the chat and I'll get to you all shortly. All right, so starting at the weekly time frame, as we always do, and no upper wick, and you guys know exactly how I feel about that scenario. So now what I'm looking at is within this weekly candle, what potential levels, if we did pull back to, would I be looking for potential for sellers to potentially step back in and push this thing back down to retest the low and potentially continue further to the downside. Those points of interest may also be the points of interest for buys if price was to begin to pop above those levels and continue to push bullish, and likely going to head up to the next level within the current weekly candle. On to the daily, what we can see is we do have counter probabilities being to the downside, but we have tapped into the most recent support here on the daily. And we are pulling back quite strongly after just breaking through not all that long ago. It was about an hour or so ago. I was on the chart, sending charts into the members group, and this thing was shooting the bed at that point. We're trying to push back above that support. So that level around at 49.20 is going to be quite critical, in my opinion, as to where we may continue throughout the day. So likely what we're going to be looking for is on that, around that level, what is there any previous data, which obviously looks like, well, there is, and that could be a potential level we look for price to pull back to for maybe some short entries on the 4-hour time frame. As I've mentioned, we are technically still structurally bearish. We now popping back within the zone that we've just broken, so marking the most recent resistance. Let me just pull up the magnet. gonna use that whole level for the time being. Support, I mean, again, we'll find some zones here on the minor time frames. We know we're currently pulling back within a 4-hour zone. See what we got on the minor time frame here. All right, so what I can see is we are now pulling back quite strongly to a level around that 49.23 sort of region, level we have just broken prior to the stream, an hour and a bit prior to the stream, and we're approaching with a bit of momentum. Did we actually bounce at a significant level here to the left? To be honest, not really. I wouldn't call it such a strong level. I mean, it is definitely some support, so potentially is a level we could rebound off. But what I'm looking at, guys, at the minute is it's all about this level, how price reacts to that 49.23, since we have broken it pre-stream. And what I'm going to be looking for is to see signs of potential rejection. So if prices to pop up, what I want to see is obviously tap in, look for rejection, look for a 15 minutes close back bearish, look for, as I mentioned yesterday, my catalysts such as either the engulfing candle, if that's going to be too big of a stop loss, or it's just not going to give us the margin. What I could look is to see if we got within it, opposite to what we did yesterday on the buys, the upside. Look to see if we've got minor support in the M5 and wait for price to begin to pop below that support, as long as we've got a 15-minute candle closing back bearish prior to it. Off the back of that, we could look for some potential sell options. So that's what I'm going to be currently looking at. Now, also, if price was to tap back in, consolidate below it, and then pop back above the consolidation, there's a high probability at that point we're going to push deeper back into the Asian session range. So off the back of that, I would consider some potential buy options. So that's something also to keep an eye on. I won't put in for the time being, otherwise everyone's just going to jump on a stream and say, well, I'm looking to buy it above 49.35, and I'd rather just wait and see how price reacts to it, and then we know we're potentially looking for buys above that point. Also going to mark in support, most recent. Let's zoom out again. Let's just see what we've got below. So I'm going to mark in, I'm going to use that as use that for the time being. All right, so would there be any further options? Well, look, possible buys. I'm not going to discount the buys from lower down. If we create that equal low and have some sort of price action signal from the current daily candles low, or even if we were to sweep the Asian range low, the current daily low, only to pop back above it. But at this rate, I'm definitely more keen on looking for sell options, guys. And that is what I'm patiently going to be waiting for, to see if price does retrace up to that 49.23 to 30 sort of region, and look out to see how price reacts to it for potential sell options. So that's what we're currently going to be likely waiting on, guys. I mean, pretty straightforward, pretty simple analysis. Nonetheless, I hope it made sense. If it doesn't, feel free to ask questions. If it does, or even if it doesn't, make sure to smash that like button. Now let's quickly have a look at the German 40 chart I sent into the members group, and we're just consolidating at the daily low. It is quite bearish, but similar to gold, if it forms some structure from this support and closes above the resistance, the likelihood is that we're going to head back up to, first of all, 24.764 and then potentially 788. Anyone interested in trading German 40, they're your current levels of interest. Sells below the support, which we did just briefly dip below it, and we've pulled back above it. So these levels, guys, how accurate they are, absolutely phenomenal. So it's pulled back above that support I marked here around that 2470 sort of region, 700. So off the back of that, and the rejection off the back of that, and the fact that we remain above that, we close above the resistance at 24.737. I think there is a good chance we're heading back up further. So that's what I'd be looking at in German 40. Pullback sells as well, similar to gold. And that is the current state of proceedings, guys. Let's have a good one. Been a cracking day. Took silver buys from, basically did mention to members group, I had a limit order at 75, which did pull into some significant drawdown, but was looking for an intraday sort of trade. I was happy to hold in drawdown and had another limit order set 73.80, which was around here. Had another order set at this support, but never obviously pulled back to that point. And I eventually closed all positions pretty much right at the high. Sent the screenshot into the free Discord community as well. And as I mentioned to the guys at the open of the daily candle, prior to the daily open, actually, what I'd be looking at, what sort of levels I'd be looking at, levels of interest. Also, just sent in a message into the swing intraday trade section about EJ. I think EJ is potentially setting up for a decent longer term position to the upside here. Just based off the level it's at a strong 4-hour, strong daily level of support. So basically waiting to see our price, if it does sweep around that 180, 450, and wait for some structure to form and look out for like a 15-minute structure flip to the upside from that point before it would become valid. It's a lot of activity within the group. We are killing it. In the meantime, guys, let me get to you all in the chat again. Michael, g'day to you. Franco, good morning to you. Laura, g'day to you. Good afternoon, hope you're well. Crispy Honeybee, Tony Gold, Mr. Phil, Tony Gold, AU and NZ. All right, I'll have a look at that shortly. Sunboss Golden Lens. Yep, another day. Good morning to you, mate. AU and NZ. So AU has been extremely bullish. Has obviously been pulling back a bit, but if you're looking at the higher time frame picture here, we are very bullish. Previous weekly close back bullish. We've had multiple candles now, 4 consecutive bullish candles with, well, this one didn't have a high, but they've all had high lows. And at the minute, just an inside bar candle. Looking at it on the daily respecting this previous resistance, so it's a stubborn area. I've tapped into it multiple times, so perhaps we're by off the back of that, that's lines up with 70.50 as well. That could suggest that we may be ready to continue bullish, just grabbing some downside liquidity in order to make the next impulse wave up towards that. We'll break the high and begin to push above 71.50. Looking at it on the 4-hour time frame here and looking at the structure itself, and it's confirmed a structure flip, so it is bearish. Did respect it multiple attempts to break it, but it has now confirmed a flip to the downside. Once again, we remain above a pretty key level of previous resistance on the daily. So now it's likely what you'd be looking for is within this 4-hour range, what levels we've got. And I can tell you the 15-minute structure appears to be also technically bearish. Off the back of that, you've actually got scalping wise, it looks more likely to continue to the downside, to be honest. Longer term wise, I'd be more looking for buy options, but seeing on the stream I scalp, this is what I'd be looking at. I'd be looking at the minute price to, I'd be waiting patiently, because to me this is a big pocket of liquidity. A lot of accumulation in this zone around that 777.50, which lines up with a quarter number, psychological number. So I'd be patiently waiting to see how price reacts to that point. And if it does pull back and reject, I'd be looking for my price action catalyst for a potential sell option. And if it pops above it, I'd probably not try to get involved in the first close and break above, because you do have a little bit of minor resistance here. So I'd probably let it create that impulse, pull back, see if it respects the previous level of support, and then look for buys. Otherwise, buys from, I'd just patiently wait for it to come back down to the lows of the 4-hour support and tap into that 70.50 region. Is pretty much what I'd be looking at on AU and Z. Not looked at this for quite some time, to be honest. Quite low as well. So I'm not sure if it is as bullish as the Aussie, or it looks like it has been quite bullish as well, actually. Does seem to be running out of momentum, and it also may be obviously because it's at some very strong resistance here to the left. So multiple long upper wicks suggest we are exhausting at what is a high time frame resistance. The daily also struggling here. But having said that, it keeps pulling back up and closing back bullish as well. So, I mean, still a bit tricky because it's consolidating below the resistance. So often, again, this is a build up in liquidity. So what could happen is, seeing it is bullish when you're looking at the high time frame picture, could just be grabbing that volume in order to make the next push an impulsive wave to the upside. Looking at it now on the 4 hour, what we can see is just, again, accumulating here. 4 hour consolidation is a really shit zone, to be honest. Shit area it's stuck in. No direction whatsoever, but that is technically speaking the most immediate support and resistance. Structurally, I'd argue it's bullish, or let me look at this properly. No, it's similar to AU. It actually has flipped bearish. So let's go down to the 15. Yeah, it looks quite similar to AU, to be honest, mate. Yeah, if you're not in buys in a minute, you're at the top third. It's a little bit gone. I'd be similar to AU, be waiting for it to pop up a bit higher towards that 64.50 sort of region, and look out for reaction and rejection. Otherwise, I mean, you got support within the range itself on the minor time frame here around that 60.30. We may look to layer in, just depending on what you're, you know, looking at on this particular pair. If you're looking for a longer term trade or just a scalp, otherwise you're probably safer just to wait for it to pop back down a little bit lower to that 60.25 sort of region, 24, and look out for some buys from lower down. That is pretty much it, to be honest, mate. Not pairs that I personally look at to trade. Do have an interruption play potentially here as well, which actually looks pretty good on the 15 if you're after a quick scalp. Keep an eye out on that. It almost tapped in. Let's have a look at AU. Is there that same play? There is too. The issue though, it has tapped into a target, so just be a little bit wary of that. I'd be quick to manage it. Back to the gold. Mr. Tom John, go to you, brother. Hope you're well. Brad, good afternoon. That anti-social monkey, crude oil might be peaking up. Yeah, it's bouncing out of support. It's the last significant high low too, so it is the level of interest that if we were to continue bullish, I'd want this level to hold itself. It is a previous resistance here on a 4 hour, so yes, it's definitely pulled back to a good level of interest. For those who are looking for perhaps a longer term sort of perspective again, or an intraday sort of trade, what I'd be waiting for is perhaps let it pull back a little bit further into this zone, and then look to bounce back up, start to flip the structure, the micro structure. So with the structure itself is technically bullish, but within the current daily we're structurally forming bearish. So maybe start to flip that staircase back bullish and then target the highs again. So patiently waiting on this gold pullback. Aaron, g'day, mate. Hope you're well. Been a while, buddy. Hope everything is well for you. Sorry, guys. It's forward seating arrangements for a wedding, which I have to go to in a couple of weeks from now. I won't be on stream until Thursday too. KSS Multimedia, no, you did not miss anything. Now waiting for gold to pull back to 49.25 roughly. This zone here. TikTok shall let them in. I think I will. So again, it's been a cracking week so far, guys. Been a really It's such a good start to the year. And to be honest, it's because I just follow the plan. Very simple. Even on silver, the way I trade silver is different. I don't really scalp it, to be honest. I just look for pullback levels and look to layer into positions on it. One reason why I don't like to scalp it personally is because the spreads on silver are quite dynamic, and to be honest, they do widen to the point of around 7-8 pips. So for me, that's just not, you know, good. It doesn't cut it as a scalper. Also, that tends to happen every time you get a candle printing quite strong. The spread goes bananas on silver, so I really don't want to be tagged in and then dragged, so I prefer not to scalp it. Doesn't mean it wouldn't work. I mean, you had a interruption play that's presented and worked really well just here. You'll take a scalp, irrespective of the spread. You still would have been able to secure some profit, but nonetheless, when it comes to the silver, I prefer the give me a wider stop loss, more room to breathe, and letting it go for a little bit. Personally, not interested in holding really any longer term positions at the minute, especially during the Chinese New Year. I mentioned yesterday, data suggests that normally at around this time of the year, during the Chinese New Year, it's more likely for a lot of manipulation to happen in the silver and gold markets, the metals markets, and most often it is to the downside. And that is what we're seeing so far. I mean, the weekly is forming strong bearish and with no upper wick, so perhaps it's going to repeat again. But obviously there is still a fair bit of data to remain for the rest of the week. We're still very early into proceedings. Highly prone to manipulation is gold and silver, especially this time of year. TikTok, g'day to you guys. Please smash that screen for us. Let's get the numbers up. Otherwise, I'll quickly end the stream. So perhaps jump across to the YouTube stream at some point. Jacapo. Sorry, the chat just moved. What was your question? You think buy? No, I think sell actually. I'm looking for sells on gold today. Wouldn't discount the buys, but I'm more likely to look for sell options. My members, I shall share with you a link. Oops. It's a small, it's like a niche group these days, to be honest. We're a small team, but pretty tight knit. Definitely enjoy chatting to the guys more personally when it comes to the private sessions, getting to know some of the guys, also DMs and that type of thing. But again, for what you pay, you get much more than any other group that you pay a fortune for. So just saying. Aaron, you've been kicking my ass a couple of months. Good to see you killing it this year though. All good, mate. You're always, you know, always good to have you on the stream when you can make it. KWS to me. I thought you took that interruption entry current M15, a third bullish candle. What on gold? There is no interruption. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Silver? No, silver. I took entries earlier. I took entries on these candles, to be honest. Gold Sniper, g'day to you. Girlfriend said, "Oh, good, mate. Whenever, there's always doors always open." So, Charlie, is this gold? It is. This is the gold. It's actually raining here. Been a bloody hot one in Melbourne today. Charlie is shorting here what I think. I think gold is more bearish today. I don't have confirmation to short it. For me, I'm still wanting it to come back up to the level it most recently broke out of and see how price reacts to it. Other than that, I don't really have a level of interest at the moment. Also, because if I was looking for an entry, I'd probably have to use the 5 here, and 5 is just basically a slow trickle up. So as far as catalyst wise, again, unless it pops up, as I mentioned before, the bearish engulfing, not going to cut it, because you're going to have a massive stop. You're not going to have any margin whatsoever to target. The next potential confirmation will be the 5-minute support. Now, the 5-minute support is this area here, so I'd want a strong 15-minute close below it. But the thing is, with that, you're running straight into some more support. So I really am preferencing price popping back up a little bit higher towards that 49.25 and seeing how it reacts to it. And if it doesn't, if it just drops back down, as I mentioned earlier, prior to letting you guys on a TikTok stream, I've been on YouTube since 30 minutes now, I would consider some buys lower down. As long as we had the right confirmations, we had a bit of maybe structure form on even the 5 minutes, some strong closures, maybe the 30. That's more likely to be a silver bullet session with the members though. So for this stream, I'm more focused on the sells, but anything could happen. You guys have seen where I've had a screaming price action signal to do the opposite, and using intuition, I've gotten the end of another trade which works. So just going to do what we always do, and that's just stick to, first of all, the plan, and then react to what we see. Boy Tomelo. So are we buying or selling? At the minute, I'm sitting on my hands, literally doing nothing. Not in a trade at the minute. Gold Snipe, you waiting for the same area? Yeah, to me, I just want price to pull back to grab over maybe some of that leftover liquidity from the initial break. It was a fast, quick break, so we've not yet retested it. So there's likely going to be some orders pending at that zone again. We may need to push back up to pick up that liquidity from around that 49.25. That's just my personal opinion. And if it doesn't, then I'll reassess and perhaps look for some buys later on. But again, no need to force anything, no need to rush anything. Thank you to new followers. Guys, TikTok, if you could. Again, don't forget to smash that screen, and YouTube. Guys, if you could also, don't forget to hit the like button. Still not taking a loss on stream yet this year. We've been so consistent throughout. And again, it will happen eventually, but I'll do my best to make sure, to try to make sure it's, you know, maybe it doesn't happen for a while and is very short-lived. Stubbs, you're late to the party. What stock is this? This is spot gold, mate. XAUUSD is gold and US dollar. Vids, I'm actually looking for sells today and preferring the sell options. Weekly forming strong bearish lower high lower low to the previous. Daily same thing. I know we're at some pretty strong support, but what within that level we've created some clean traffic on the minor time frame here. So I'm just waiting a pullback, and I want to see if price pull back to grab over some of those leftover orders and liquidity from that 49.25 sort of region for potential sell option. Did mention earlier As I mentioned again, I did start stream earlier on YouTube. I did mention to those guys that if we did pop up to this level, begin to consolidate around it, and then pop above, that's when I would consider further, perhaps, some buy options. But otherwise, for the moment, I'm more focused on potential sells, because again, we're trending quite strong bearish within the current daily candle itself. I mean, that was a pretty big drop. Within 30 minutes, I think we dropped almost $100, so almost 1,000 pips. Jim, morning to you. Ahmed, good day to you, mate. Always good to see you as well in the chat. Welcome. Well, Sniper, rather it pulled back more than 50% off the move down. I'll bet the house on it. Yeah, well, the move down, you're talking about the most recent move, or because that would be if you are to use a FEB. That's the wrong way around. I always do it the wrong way around, guys, because I use FEBs differently. I don't use it this way, but for the sake of it, so that will line up between a 618 and a 786, that pullback. But again, I don't use that as confluence, the FEB. You guys have seen how I use a FEB, and that's to determine strength of an actual candle itself, and whether or not I have a valid impulse entry, or if I have to wait for another candle to close. Ranting GU isn't dumping. Oh Jesus! Yeah, the back of the news. To mention, there is high impact pound news, so likely going to affect the euro. Yeah, the euro is dropping. Is AU dropping? It is too. Wow. Not as much though, but GU is copying and pounding at the minute. Wow, look at that. GJ, I'm assuming as well. Yeah. So that is news, guys. It was just high impact news for the pound. And it came out. Okay. So it came out right. I thought actual. All right. Little do I know about news. Looking like textbook trade, Gold Sniper. It is, but doesn't always mean it's a win. So sometimes they look too good to be true. Josh, thoughts on previous weekly low being swept? Was on that last heavy drop. No time frames closed below though. Yeah, look, in regards to it popping back up, that's why I'm not opposed to buys, but that would be later on. So the fact that we have swept that previous weekly low, which lines up with some support here on the daily. So in regards to the buy scenario, I would want it to actually now confirm that higher low or equal low and start to form again a little bit of consolidation and pull away from that consolidation. I would consider some potential buy options, but that would be more probably into the pre-MY session with you guys later on. Just give us 2 secs, guys. I'm gonna close the Mac door. Heavens have definitely opened up. Wow, really starting to come down. Jim, Gold Weekly, no top wick. Yep, not a problem. How many of these to the upside had no lower wicks as well? As I mentioned, all throughout those candles, had so many here. Don't necessarily need it, so long as any pullback within it is met by pressure. So in this case, to the downside, we don't necessarily need the upper wick, so long as any pullback within this current weekly is met by sell pressure stepping back in. So what I look for are levels within the current daily / weekly. Daily's also forming strong bearish, and mark in levels of interest that if we did pull back to, there could be a good chance that sellers will step back in and push this thing potentially back down to create a lower low. If we begin to pop above it, then what I look for is the next level of interest. And if that holds, then again, we don't necessarily need to pull back up and create that upper wick. So that's how I go about it. And to me, it is not necessary. Now, when it comes to a scalping entry, yes, I do prefer the wick in the opposite direction prior to an entry. However, when it comes to the weekly time frame, I don't really care what's going on in regards to if it's got a wick or not on the, you know, upper wick in this case, when I'm looking for sells. It doesn't mean it can't pull back up and create it, but at this rate, I'm just looking to the levels, and I'm not just going to sell limit the level unless I've got a reason to, such as an interruption, delayed interruption presenting. So without that, I'm just going to see how price reacts to the levels of interest and look for my sells. And if it doesn't reject and we begin to consolidate and pop above, then I may have an option to buy it. Bye FN. Look, if you're in from 4900, you're looking all right, but I'm personally not in a trade at the minute, looking for more sell side from around that 49.25. You must believe in Jesus. All good, all good. Not gonna ban you or anything. I don't mind someone coming on. You're entitled to it. All good. It's in English. That's one thing. Stubbs, thank you for the sticker, by the way. DHB, thank you for sharing the live. Gold Sniper, I've seen it hit 40%, come down, then go up, test over 50, and then sink properly. Worth back testing. See, fair enough. What time frame are you talking about? A 15-minute impulse or? So the silver entries, all I look for is levels, basically. So I was looking at the 4-hour levels today. There was one, it looked different on my brokerage chart, definitely looked different. It was pretty much at 75. It's where the body started, basically. And there was another one, obviously a bit lower down, which again for me was 73.80 roughly. So the level was set, I had limit order set and got the job done. Let's get on YouTube if you could. Those who haven't yet hit the like button, just do me a favor and help me out. Quickly take a look at German 40 again. So we're still consolidating. It's likely going to make quite a big impulse, probably at session open, to be honest, guys. But until it clears the consolidation, for me, there'd be no clear-cut entry. And again, the way this thing moves is just, especially once it accumulates for a while, there's a good chance it's just going to impulse, whether it be up or down. At the moment, it's a flip of a coin, to be honest. But yeah, I still don't see a solid way to get involved in German 40, personally. But look at that level. That's why I draw in zones and not just horizontals. And I was watching a video of some other content creator and coach, mentor. And the way he drew in his zones were fair enough. I mean, it's totally fair enough. But the fact that he mentioned if you don't do it this way, you're doing it all wrong was, hang on a minute. What makes you think that? So again, it's just each to their own. So what I see present or play out often is price will tap right into these zones and bounce off it. So as opposed to looking for literally something like that, just the horizontal, I'd rather wait for price to clear the zone itself. And the beauty is with Forex trading, the reality is there is no right or wrong. It's just whatever works for you, whatever floats your boat and what works. And to know if it works or not, you need to accumulate data. All right, so I still don't see a decent entry here on gold. You guys remember yesterday? We found something within the actual area of interest without price without price reaching the area of interest, and we took some buys for some nice profits. So anything could present. I'll let you know if something in between presents, but at the moment I don't have any clear signal. Some people I know will be looking at a trend line just here. And we'll be thinking we're about to break the trend line, and we've broken it. There's your sell. And again, if it works for you, by all means, you go for it. I can totally understand it. It's just not what I do. Does look like a waterfall though. But again, I'm patiently waiting for it to pop up that little bit higher. So for Abdi, where is gold at? Currently 49.06. 0.06 and 0.7. And TikTok guys, if you want the full screen, which includes the price scale, I'd advise to jump across to the YouTube stream. Can't miss the exact same profile name, just look up Forex and you'll see me streaming live on YouTube. Sees today, sell limit 49.40. 49.40, that's back above. Just depends on your broker, you might have a level there. Yeah, look, I'd probably, if I was to consider a sell limit, I'd probably have it set a little lower down. 49.40 to me, it's back above this support. I'd rather set it for a little higher if that's the case, around that 49.55 sort of region, 53. Even 49.50, to be honest, that interruption candle, I definitely would have my stop above it though. As per the interruption rules, because that's just way too tight. It's like 40 pips on the interruption. Delayed interruption doesn't cut it. But yeah, I'm not going to place limit orders, for not yet anyway. But I probably have them set 49.25, the quarter number, and 49.50, the half number. They're using quarter levels. So 436 when to enter sell. For me, not yet. Still wanting price to pop up that bit higher. Upper where to sell. To mention around that 49.23, 25 to 30 sort of region. This resistance is where I'd really like to see price pull back to sweep some liquidity from the upside. And if it doesn't happen, we just come rolling back down. I'll be looking to see how price reacts to support. Macca, how do you mark up the sell below area? Sell below. So that was the previous support that we've broken. So to me, I can see it is all pretty much a 4-hour level. So that's why I've got it in as gray. It's just so I can distinguish between the 4-hour and the minor time frame level. So this level is actually below the 4-hour wicks to the left. So to me, this is the level that we've not yet pulled back to since breaking it. So to me, it's a strong level. It's a 4-hour level. I want to see price react to it. So what I do is, seeing its support, I will draw it in from the closest body of any bullish candle to the lowest point of any bullish candle. In this particular case, it happens to be the same candle. Sometimes it won't be. Sometimes it might be the candle next to it may look like this, for instance. Just to quickly show you an example, this candle may look like that. So the body is lower down, but it's not the lowest wick. So if that was to be the case, then I just use the M15 zone, mark it up like that. But again, it's all subjective. That's why I was a bit shocked when I heard the person presenting the argument saying that this is the only way. It's bullshit. It's just what works for you. This is what works for me. Because others, it might just be a horizontal, and I can understand. That's not what I do. It doesn't work for me. But if it works for you, who am I to judge? But that's how I go about my zones. Yeah. I mean, it's the upside here. I probably, once we come closer to that level, and technically speaking, on minor zone here, probably just pull that up, and then you got another minor level just there, so you can pretty much destroy that whole area. So it's the highest point of any bearish candle. But your body, so the zone to me starts at 49.53 region, so that's where I'd, in this case, have the lowest part of the zone. Do a video on my somewhere on a TikTok profile. Definitely have it on you actually, do I have it on YouTube? I'm not sure. It's definitely in the members group. Ooh, so we tried to pull up, we are currently rejecting. Let's just see how this candle can close. Back all good. Make sure to sub to the YouTube stream, YouTube channel as well, because you get a lot more educational content on the YouTube channel itself. To recently upload a short, I think it was yesterday. I'm meaning to upload it onto TikTok, but got having a few issues. I had issues with MagicKeys yesterday. I think I fixed it. Look, if this had pulled up, so if this formation was currently higher up and had tapped into that resistance, I would consider an impulse sell on the break of this bullish candle's low. But my concern is that, have we grabbed enough of that liquidity on the pullback? Because there's likely going to be some leftover orders when this thing just, you know, just shitting the bed earlier on. So I would preference price popping back up to that point before looking for this type of signal within price action. It's not crystal clear, to be honest. You don't really have any nice areas in a 5-minute. I mean, in the 5-minute, you got these wicks to the left of it, which price could respect and reject. So without it pulling back to this point yet, I'm not going to take that impulse entry. Bill, thoughts on short on EU on the candle close on the M30? Let me have a look at EU. Quickly look at the rundown. Daily counter probabilities bearish. Wow, still structurally bullish, but bearish counter probabilities. Going to be some support here on the minor time frame. So you said the 30, so I'll mark it in on the 30. Alright, look at that. It's literally pulled back to tap into the Asian range high from a couple of days back, that whenever that was anyway. That's likely going to be 15-minute support. which if it was would put me on. It's not actually. All right. Well, seeing you've asked about on the 30, I mean, yeah, it does look good. It's breaking below low. I would definitely wait for, obviously, price to pull back, create the upper wick. I would personally rather see it close below the Asian range low and then retest it and then begin to pull away from it. You may get that. So that's probably what I now just use as the catalyst. If it close below the Asian range low, creates the upper wick, tapping in, rejecting. You could go down to the 5 minutes. So the 5 minutes good, because what the 5 minutes suggests to me is that within this potential catalyst candle closing below the support form, just above the low of the day, we've had the 5 minute retesting and we're pulling away from that zone still. So we don't necessarily need the new candle to pull the way back up to retest this zone. What it could do is, so again, preference it closing below the Asian range low, right? Just a bit of an upper wick, and then as it begins to break. That is probably what I do, but you know the way I trade, mate. So for me, I'd be looking at 15. 15, you got a little bit of minus support there, which is still probably enough to be able to manage trade, perhaps. Yeah, I mean that's my opinion of it. Doesn't look bad. Whoops. Stop traffic, Louis, the cop. Thank you for sharing the stream. Definitely need it because the number's pretty low. So Moscow Lens, Mr. Justin, no shout out yet. I felt today's live stream not complete. No, I did call your name, brother. Definitely, I remember calling your name before. You may have been distracted, but no, I did call your name. Yeah, so really impulsive entry, guys, and this is the way I use the FEB. This closed below the 0.382. It's a weak support forming. And if price was to break it, that would suggest to me as a high probability we're heading back down. The issue is we've not tapped into that level of interest. So if I'm to be strict about it, which I am, I would personally wait for it to tap into that resistance to see how it reacts to it. But if you're more impulsive and are willing to take a bet on that, manage your risk, and that's what you're looking at. It is about to give you a confirmation. But again, it doesn't go in line with my original plan, so I'm just personally going to chill and wait and see. We do pop up that little bit higher first. Maybe when you stepped out to get some? Yeah, possibly, mate. Yeah, so it's looking like it would be valid. So what you'd be doing is waiting for an upper wick. Yeah, we do have some 5 minute support though. So to me, it's just stuck in 5 minute consolidation. It does look like it could waterfall. But again, my concern is that perhaps we'll just create another case to the upside, another step to the upside, or we head back up to tap into that zone and then reject. And then if this happened from this level, I'll definitely consider a sell option. So if you are interested though, you'd be looking at just a bit below. You probably wouldn't be triggered in just yet. Again, I'm personally just waiting. I think it's one of the best things about strategy. You have definable metrics for almost everything. Most would say you can just tell that is weak. Thank you, mate. Yeah, just that's it. Paints the picture black or white. It's a yes or no that way. So there's no doubting it. Yeah, and that's what you know, what works for me. TYWLW, good trade. Looks like it would be. And if you're using, there would have been a bloody tight stop though to trust the current candle's high. You'd be halfway into, you would have been halfway into your 1-to-1 almost off the back of that. Now you'd be back on entry, so nothing for me, guys. It's not tapped into my level of interest, so I'm just patiently chilling. Buy or sell. Mention a potential sell that you could be in, but I'm personally not, because I'm waiting for it to pop up higher. But for me, there is no entry, because again, my plan is for it to see if it pulls back up to grab over some of those leftover orders, the liquidity from the upside, from that initial impulse down. That to me is the better option. Because the concern for me is if I took an entry here, there's that definitely that chance that we may need one more leg up. And it looks like it could be the case. So why, for me, I wasn't interested in personally taking an entry at this level. You know, if it did shit the bed, I'm happy to let it go, miss the move, and then plan for what I could perhaps look for from lower down. Life is good. 5 minutes lowest you using, or using no, 5 is definitely the lowest. Yeah, so yesterday the confluence is based on the 5 minute, the buy that we took, which shots TP. It's quite quick in the end. But for the most part, 15 minute is the catalyst. So even yesterday I did have a 15 closing in my direction prior to it, but the 5 minute was really what gave me the confidence that it was going to be a good setup. And that was to the upside. That was a gold buy, which was called on stream live. And at the minute, we're patiently waiting to see if price pulls up to the next level of interest here. If we're not, the plan is to just to wait, mate. And if it doesn't and it just drops down, then I'm gonna have to reassess and see how price reacts to this support. Like I mentioned, that may be more of a silver bullet session with my team type of scenario for potential buys. There's no need to rush things. Have a plan. Stick to your plan. As I mentioned yesterday, the way to go about it is even writing down your plan prior to your session and see if you can stick to it. Might mean a no trading day. Just see if you can stick to it. It's a big test of your psychology. And emotions play a massive part in this game, for sure. Harpo buy TP 23. Yeah, that would be my target if I was in a buy. Richardson, higher time frame bias. Well, I mean, technically speaking, the way I see it, gold is still bullish on the daily here. It respected the last significant higher low, did tap into it, did pop below it, but didn't close below it. So we rejected pop back above. So to me, the actual structure itself is still intact on the higher time frame. But what I do see is the fact that the weekly is pretty strong bearish. We have low, high, low, low. Daily is pretty strong bearish, low, high, low, low. All our structure is technically bearish. So off the back of that, and with the 15-minute structure being bearish, I do prefer to sell side for today for scalp options. Longer term picture, I would still prefer to look for buys, but I did also mention levels into my group this AM before the Asian session open, before the daily candle open. I mentioned some upside levels to look for rejection of. Price has not got near those levels, but I am personally bullish when it comes to gold and especially silver. But technically speaking, again, structurally daily it's bullish, weekly it's definitely bullish in structure. So if you're asking the higher time frames, then it's bullish. There you go. XZ, there's an unmitigated 4-hour fair value gap on the top. Could not care less about fair value gaps. Not what I do. Not what I do. And all good to you if you trade them and trade them well, and anyone else, but to me it's not what I do. I don't use fair value gaps as confluence. I have no idea what's happened there. You're talking about up here, I'm assuming? Possibly, I don't know. But again, I look at levels, I don't look at fair value gaps and pure price action. Richardson, agree, but silver looks way bearish in the daily. Yeah, silver does look a lot more bearish. But you did ask about gold. I'm pretty sure you asked about gold, didn't you? Well, I was on gold, so I'm assuming you're asking about gold. But yeah, silver is pretty bearish, to be honest. You got daily structure bearish, you got 4-hour structure bearish. Weekly structure is technically bullish. It's very bullish. But silver for me, I'm just focused on levels. Silver for me is, as far as a hold for the long term, it's a better play. There's more potential return on silver. But silver I do differently. So silver I actually accumulate physical, even though I can't at the moment. It's just you can't get your hands on it. I had a look before the stream. There was a few coins floating around in bullion, but the premiums were crazy. You're looking at 30% plus. So that's a little bit high, to be honest. But yeah, I do have a fair silver stack physical. And otherwise, what I do with silver is just look for little bigger scalps, like an intraday trade based on levels. So not really what I do when it comes to the scalping, what I do on stream. Quite different, to be honest. Oh, gold. So we may be popping up to our level of interest. That was my concern, guys. And look what we're doing. So it looks like we could be tapping in shortly. Rixie, yes. That level? Possibly, mate. Ahmed, number 1. Thank you, mate. It's all about patience, this game, guys. I mean, it's AM my time when I saw silver was shitting the bed. Could have easily jumped in early thinking, all right, may not pull back to those levels of interest. I just take a buy now, and I would have got absolutely wrecked. I would have not felt great about holding through a heap of drawdown. That would have been a heap of drawdown, to be honest. But no, I had a plan as to what levels I wanted price to push to or drop to. And off the back of that, execute. Follow the plan, got the chocolates, and same thing applies to gold here. So yeah, I'm not going to take a limit order on gold. I'm going to wait and see how price reacts to it. 5 minutes left of this N15, guys, and we are approaching with steam at the minute. Up, yes. As I mentioned, there's a good chance it's going to pop up to this resistance, which it looks like it could be doing. Well, previous support, and let's see if it does confirm some resistance. If it rejects or if it pushes straight through it. I'm gonna have to reassess. Luffer, enter at the top white zone, or by the way, here Mike is echoing. Is it echoing again? I hope it's not. I have no idea why it doesn't. It's only on TikTok. So don't forget, guys, jump across to YouTube. It's better. Get full screen, and who knows, sometimes I get a ban on TikTok. Ended the stream very early the other day because I was getting notices that my stream was not being displayed to people searching the topic for some stupid reason. So there's a chance at any point they could just ban my stream. So Mitch, there is an echo. God knows, guys, apologies. I have no idea how to fix it. Occasionally it happens. Got noise suppression on high. Echo cancellation is on, so all right, close to tapping in. Loud echo. No idea, to be honest. Jump across to YouTube, guys. Just look me up on YouTube. Exact same profile name. You can't miss it. Just look it up. Fixed. I didn't even do anything, so I have no idea why it happens. It only happens on TikTok. Franco, it's great to see. What happened if you stay with your plan in regards to gold push to the upside? Yep, exactly, mate. Just gotta stick true to your plan. So if it shits the bed now and doesn't tap in, then not much I can do about it, because the plan is to wait for it to grab those leftover orders from the upside here and see how we react to that level. It's extremely simple to follow. Before I can consider any entries, I want price to tap into this gray zone. Mitch, better. Nice one. See you today. Shout sell when you go in. I always mention when I'm taking a trade. What's silver doing? It's probably got interruptions. No, I was going to say it's probably got a plenty. That one would have worked really well. Not interested in the gold one because we're at a resistance or potential resistance. German 40 doing, still rejecting. Look at those zones, holding true yet again. Thank you to the new followers on TikTok. Thank you to the new subs on YouTube as well. Appreciate it, guys. So what I can see is once we tap into this gray zone, we have a point of entry to the downside based off the 15, and that would be this support, most recent support created. So what I'd be waiting for is price to reject, come back down to this most recent support, up below it, and that could be a sell. Back of that. That is again just planning as to what we could look for. Want it to tap into this zone though, first and foremost. Now if for instance it pops up higher and forms a bit of support from higher up, and then we start to reject and pop below support, we could look for some sells a little bit higher up. But again, I want it to tap into this zone first. That's the plan. Armin, come on baby, come on, my sell zone is waiting for me. Next, good morning to you. Hope everyone's doing amazing, and to you too, mate. Armin, go selling section pop-up song. Let's try, mate. 4,930 more up. I mean, it could. We'll have to wait and see. I can't tell you. I don't have a crystal ball. WS London trade, g'day to you. Same mindset, that just above 6-1 FIP. Yep, I did actually look at that. I don't use it as confluence, but I mean, it does help if it does line up with it. I don't notice that it's just above the 618, between 618 and the 786. Waiting for a sell. Yep, same. So I'm in a funded account with consistency rules. I spotted a sell off and earned too much because I forgot the trade. Now I'm trying to reduce the profits, keep my consistency ratio. Prop firms. Yeah, mate, I have no idea how they work. It's really what puts me off. Again, I had a really bad experience with one when I was due a payout and on a big account, 300k account. And it's completely put me off. I just don't understand these consistency rules and that. To me, it's all a crock of shit. If you have a good win, I mean, why wouldn't they count it? What are you to do if the market shits the bed and it's in your favor? I just don't get it, to be honest. That's why it's rigged, because they could at any point seize your account. They could say you've done some bullshit to break one of the parameters. Obviously, it will happen with one of our members recently. And again, I think he was due a payout, so it's, to me, it's just so frustrating when you go through all that hard work and then they can pull the plug off, you know, one little thing. Once again, thank you to new followers and new on TikTok and new subs on YouTube. Generally speaking, I do this Monday and Thursday. Last Friday I was on a members only call for London, and I'm on members only calls at least 4 times a week. For the most part, it's yeah, for after session, well, after London session trading, well, after this particular session trading, and some educational content, educational sessions and that. Good fun, banter. You guys feel more open to come on the mic and have a chat. All right, so we create that lower wick. Now we're going to drive up to that resistance. Let's see. Waiting for a sell. Yep, that's what we are doing at the minute. So I hope the YouTube stream's alright. I keep getting lag on my end. Quickly take another look at silver here. Alright, so silver, issue is they don't really have the margin below the support it's created. You could argue, yes, it's pulled back to a level that it broke out of, the support. So silver is kind of a step ahead of gold. That would have been a level of interest. And what we've done is form support below it. So that's what I would be normally marking in, but the issue is you've got no margin and it's going to look like an absolute shit fight on 5 if it does. So to me, gold definitely still looks better, but it needs to, first of all, create that final move. See, first time got any lag today, been fine otherwise. Yeah, could be, I don't know, because it's like the weather's gonna shit the bed, no idea. Optus dropped us, you know about Optus, the shittest network provider. All right, so still trying to push that little bit higher. We've got just under 10 minutes until session open. We've got 9 minutes in fact. So let's say we want that last final tap into that resistance and then just have to wait for confirmation. So having a look at GU, is it still continuing to shit bed? It is. Is it across the board? AU, no, so it's definitely just a pound thing at the minute. EU is also, as always mentioned to my team, there's high impact pound news that's going to affect the euro. It always does. The spreads spike on euros. They are so highly correlated that I think it'd be quite reckless to avoid what's going on news regarding to both areas, I suppose, the pound and both sectors, pound and the euro. So keep an eye on that. If you are trading the pound, keep an eye on what is to come euro news wise, if there's high impact euro news, and vice versa. FN, sell, not yet. I don't have confirmation. Again, my plan is to wait patiently for it to tap into that level of interest. YouTube guys, if we could quickly just smash the like button. Let's get the likes up to close to 50. That would be fantastic. We've not had a like count of 50 for God knows how long. And it's really not much. I mean, that should be on the daily. Should be a lot more than that. If you could just quickly hit the like button. Simon, an expat Aussie, live in Denmark, shit the bed is a great call. Do you still say suck eggs over there? Suck on these eggs? Yeah, sometimes. I don't, yeah, that's not me. Shit the bed, it's alright, but that's taking it a bit far. That's, my older brother would say something like that. And I just look at him like you're an idiot. Yeah, you must miss some of the Aussie slang. To be honest, I've had a lot of people say I don't speak typical Aussie. Easier to understand, which I think is a compliment. Dean, I remember you talking about entry type based off Asian range. Do you have a course page out? No, that is still kind of in testing. That is from last week's video upload fully. I also uploaded a short on YouTube yesterday. So I've watched that. That literally within a minute explains it to a T. And the amount of times it works now would have worked yesterday. Let me check. Yesterday's different because we had no, it didn't even present yesterday. It wasn't even valid. From Friday, I think I mentioned would have worked. I think it worked. Yeah, it's still in a bit of testing, but it will. I'm looking to add it to, you know, as soon as I'm convinced. Definitely going to add to the course. All right, guys. Once again, patience. Looks like we may make that final move up to tap into that level of interest. Tell you when to sell it. If I take an entry, I'll definitely mention it. Don't worry, I'll give you guys enough time to consider your options as well. Yeah, it's based off the 15-minute Asian range. It's called the Asian range. It doesn't really have a name. It's based off the Asian range. All right, 5 minutes until session open. And it looks like we're continuing that staircase up, as I mentioned before. Absolutely, this is lining up really well now if we do reject, because we'll also be starting to flip some structure in a 5 minute at around that entry point. So you can see how it all lines up, how it all correlates. Paint the picture. You start in the higher time frames, you go within those candles on to the minor time frames. You can see what's happening, how structure is forming, what sort of levels of interest you've got in regards to support and resistance, and you can plan your potential entry points and know what you want to look out for. Magulasumu, best app for doing this. Well, to chart, TradingView. This is TradingView. It's free. There is a paid version. I don't have it. I don't use it. And to trade, you're going to need to sign up to a broker and download a platform that they offer. Do have a broker listed down below if you are interested. Best for spreads by far and away. Easily #1 in the business when it comes to tight spreads. Come on, tap in. Jay Kingston, what level are you selling from? Where do you think price will react? Looking for a reaction of that 49.23.30 roughly, but again, higher better. 49.25 would be fantastic, a quarter number, but I at least wanted to tap into the low of this zone minimum. Jesus, 34, a little bit higher up. I mean, that's also not a bad area. Come on, gold. Wanted to push that little bit higher. So as I mentioned before, guys, see, this is what I meant about if it popped up high and tapped in, we may have an entry from higher up, because what you're going to have here is the 15-minute likely closing bearish. You got 5-minute support. You may have the 5-minute even closing below it. That would be a cracking confluence, but the fact that it's not tapped, still not tapped in. So my concern is that we may yet make one more staircase up here on the 5. So without that little push, further push, you know, I'm just gonna remain patient. What lot size? It is of no importance. It's enough to see some good results. Had a really good day. Had a fantastic day, to be honest, on silver. But it's also enough to see some significant drawdown. I was in some significant drawdown, but my plan was to buy in lower down, which I did. And both positions ended up in well and truly in profit. So, all right, let's see. Just under 2 minutes, guys. Let's see if we make that final move up to tap into that resistance. $37 likes YouTube. We're getting close to that 50. Let's get it there, please. Checking. All right, 1 minute, guys, until the session open. Team, what are time frames for Asian range? Is in when I started for the Tokyo Open until the Frankfurt Open. That's what this actual indicator is. Gives me the high and low, what's gone on between those two times. Otherwise, the M15 time frame. All right, 30 seconds, guys. Ahmed, NFP news time. I can straddle trade with lose stop loss. I would personally not be trading around NFP. You could blow your account in seconds. Bye, sorry, mate. I'll read that in a minute. Just notice your message in the Zoom chat. All right, so here we go, guys. Session open. Let's see if we can pop back up and tap in. Still not retested that zone we broke out of pre-Euro. Google Sumo will send a link for this so that I can use, please. Can you? What do you mean? You mean that particular video spoke about? Just make sure to sub and you'll see it on the channel there. Most recent video upload. Dean, futures tapped in. All right, mate. So if the futures tapped in, then just look for your catalyst. Have you got it? Have you got that? We got that 5-minute support. So if it begins to break it, I mean, it would have been great if this closed a little bit closer to the low. Once it's got a decent upper wick and begins to break the low of that candle, it is a potential reversal candle and potentially forming an evening star. But for that to be valid, again, it has to have tapped into levels. So if it has on futures, have a think about it. But for me, it's not valid yet until we tap into that resistance. RFI, not valid for buys on gold on current candle because previous M15 closed above the resistance. You're talking about here, I wouldn't entertain it, to be honest, because of the fact that we've not retested that zone and we're very strong bearish at the minute. So again, I'd rather now we're tapped in. Beautiful. All right, we've got that tap in. Fantastic. That's what we want. All right, so at this point, guys, it's still more valid below the support, but let's just wait and see what presents in this 15-minute candle. At the moment, my potential entry point is below support, but again, let's just see what data prints within this 15-minute candle on the M5 as well, and perhaps we may be able to get involved in a trade from higher up. Vivo buys a 15-minute candle top. Not for me because of this level. J Kelly 23, what's the shaded zone mean? It's just the zone of interest, so previous support that price broke out of pre-session. I want to see how price reacts to it. Once again, guys, TikTok, if you would at some point. Deep Wonder, thank you for the sticker as well. Make sure to subscribe to YouTube stream in case I go missing on TikTok. Exact same profile name, you cannot miss them. Streaming live on YouTube at the minute. Franco, nice up move on German 40. Didn't really find a point of entry. Yeah, it's a tough one. Did pull all the way back to tap in, but look what happens. Like I mentioned, guys, this is just a pocket of accumulation. For it to likely create another impulse, whether it be up or down, you need to wait for the confirmation. Would have been extremely impulsive, but perhaps that could have been your entry. You would have just been tagged out break even though. And now you got a liquidity candle on the M5. It's tough. I mean, it's easy to say after the fact, but yes, it's not easy to find entries. Mark J Santos sent message in IG. Yeah, I think I don't know what that's about. Still fair value gap not filled. Ahmed, not really bothered by it. Again, I don't trade fair value gap, so to me it's not really of concern. All right, let's quickly look at the 5 minute. So again, continue that staircase up. Now, often this slow trickle. So after a impulsive move, in this case the downside, often the slow trickle upwards is met by another waterfall. Now, for me, again, I need to determine at what point I would look for a potential entry in anticipation we could begin to, create that waterfall. And I need definitely a confirmation first of all on the 15. The way this thing is popping back up further suggests that we still have a bit of momentum and buy pressure at the current level. So I need price to start to kill back over. And this is the 5 minute support now. So let's just mark it in for horizontal here, just so we know that's at 419.15 level. So we start getting closes below there, we may have opportunities to get involved in some sells. We'll have to wait and see. Senpai, we sell. Not at the minute. quickly look at GJ. Let's have a look at the pound pairs. Still shitting the bed is GJ. That's the 15-minute scalp that I was talking about. That it would have worked absolutely to a T on GJ yesterday. I knew I marked that in. Oh no, that's right. I was showing an example of this to, was it on stream yesterday? And look, it played out absolutely perfect with very little drawdown. Absolutely perfectly fantastic. Good to see it play out. Let's quickly look at GU. Still no, now potentially retracing. So for me, GU, I'd be looking at the point of interest where it broke the most recent support at that level marked in on the 4-hour. Yeah, so I want it to pull back to that point around at 135.860. See how price reacts to it. All right, we so far remain below that zone, so let's see if we're going to get some sell opportunities here on gold shortly. Gee, if I have a valid entry and if I'm about to take it, I would definitely tell you well and truly before. But again, I won't be rushed to take an entry unless it presents and gives me the right confirmation. Let's see if we can reject here. All right, 5 minutes starting to look a bit better. But again, I want to see how this 15 closes. G Gavin Witters, what time frames? Predominantly at a 15, but also go down to the 5 and also use the higher time frame. Well, for more so for levels and general direction. So high time frames to me suggesting that we could still continue bearish. Let's see how the 15 closes. Still got just over 5 minutes remaining. So far, showing some really good signs of rejection here. All right, so if we close weak bullish on the 15, I may consider an entry as it breaks the low of the bullish candle, which will be just a bit above the 5 minute support based off the 15 minute. The 15 minute is the higher time frame. It holds more precedence, so it is strong confirmation. The risk with it is the fact that the 5 minute has not yet confirmed that we're ready to perhaps reject this zone completely and up trending bearish, because we're, at the minute we're still forming a staircase up here on the gold. If you're looking at in the 5 minute, there is no confirmation. So again, the best thing to do at the moment is to wait for 15-minute rejection, 5 minutes close below support, and that could suggest we're ready to head back down. Thank you to the new sub on YouTube. Thank you to all the new followers on TikTok, and thank you to those who've hit the like button. 40 were 10 away from hitting that 50 mark, which has not been done for a long time on the live stream. So if you could, guys, quickly hit that like button. Yeah, got rejection in the M5. Yeah, but we're still closing at this rate strong bullish in the M15. So without a stronger rejection, there is still nothing for me because the M5 is still like I said, praying staircase up at the minute. Nasdaq just smashed through my TP by long run. Una. Nice work. Pretty clean price action, to be honest. You know what's presenting? Who can see it? It's why does it have to be at this level? What do we got here? Looks like we could have a valid interruption upwards. This is tough. This is a bit tough, guys, because again, my initial plan is to look for sells from this zone. But what I'm seeing is a pretty strong price action catalyst to look for a buy as well, based on this interruption. And we've got volume in the markets. We're definitely at a time of volume as well. We are moving with momentum now to the upside. So off the back of that, there could be a short potential buy scalp. It is extremely risky though because of this resistance, because if it rejects and tags in, there is a good chance it could drop lower and reject big time. But if you're looking just purely at an interruption entry, this is valid. If it closes above pretty much where it's at, it is the favorite entry of the A.C.T Forex team, and it is highly probable. Gosh, 1 EM32 if it closes strong. Yeah. Oh, it's thrown a spanner into the works, guys. Could we all of a sudden look for some buys when I was looking for sells? It would have to be extremely low risk because my plan was to look for sells from here. But as I mentioned at the beginning, something may present in between. If it does, I may be flexible. So the interruption would mean entry at the high of that bearish candle, stop loss below it, and you target pretty much the high of this candle. Depending where it closes, as it flips, you would definitely want to be at break even, consider securing some profit. With the momentum to the upside, I don't think it's that bad an entry, in all honesty. I mean, you'd be looking at, so whatever the highest point is in that bearish candle on your broker's chart, on mine that is 49.1758. So that's where you'd be looking at for a potential entry. Now, the continuation interruption play has to happen within this candle. So that's what I'll wait around for. If it presents, fantastic. If this thing flips and breaks the high, I'm going to leave it. Let's get that out of the way. We don't want to do that just now. Go and sell if the price fails to hold above resistance. It's possible. I took entry. G34.35, please sell. Ahmed, you'll let fair value gap M5 chart go down. So trust me. Possibly, mate. Possibly. Again, you do what you believe is the right thing to do. I don't, force anyone to take any of my trades. But currently, I have a valid entry to the upside. But again, this thing, so it's a buy limit. 49.22. Okay. Now I don't want to break the high, because then we're likely going to push further bullish. You haven't just placed sell. To be honest, mate, I hope it goes well for you. You know, we're all here to you know, hope the best for everyone. Should all encourage each other. We may not see things the same, but still, at the end of the day, you can all still profit from it. That's the beauty of trading as well. KWS multimedia, the market has tapped into half of 1 hour for value. Possibly, I'm not sure, mate. Don't trade them. Dean, silver is a 30-minute. Silver probably looks better. Yeah, it does actually look better, but the spreads is the issue. But silver looks it's tapped in, but on a delayed, I mean, it's not tapped in, it's broken the high. On a delayed IC for later, that looks cracking. That looks really good. But the issue is spreads. What are spreads like on silver at the minute? Not bad. On IC markets anyway, 2.6. Geez, something's not right here though, because this looks so different to my broker's chart. It looks extremely different. No idea. Let's remove that for the time being. So yeah, shorts. Please, I mean long, please don't tell me I'm cooked. Look, I'm looking for a long. I was looking for a sell, but I've got a valid buy limit as well. It's just presented, so who knows? We'll both get cooked. Wait and see. Rick says you're good. Breadman, good day to you. What's your stop loss? Stop loss, as per the rules for the interruption, is below the interruption candle. Might bite this gap. I've got a valid entry upon what we call the interruption candle entry, which is so the win rate on that is crazy high. I would say it's about 90+%. Oof, popping down. Still not in. How do you go? Like, look at the perfect entry replacement, but how, you know, Richie, it's just off the back of data and knowing what works for me and train live with my strengths. So this is an entry that we take all the time in the members group, and it's so highly probable. Doesn't mean it works every time, but if I didn't take it, I wouldn't be following my plan. I'd be, you know, not trusting myself. So it's a valid entry, so that's what I'm doing. Looking to, well, might not tag in. It's close to it. Still not in. All right, in. So I'm officially in. Let's see. Regards to management, it's difficult, this one. In regards to management drawdown, generally speaking, it needs to wait for candle closes or breaks a low of a candle in between, but the low of this candle is pretty much at stop loss. So you got 15 pips. But if you want, consider securing some profit. And it's risky because it's at the resistance, guys. So I'm going to get to break even pretty quickly in case it does reject. And job done. Again, it is super risky. That's why I'm at break even. Not secured. But I don't want to take a loss because, again, we're at a pretty strong level of resistance. To not do it. Oh, geez, and you almost got taken out. So I'm officially at break even. Had 16 pips on the table. Got it again. It pops up another 10 pips or so. There you go. You got 20. All right, 25 pips. I'm going to secure a little bit of a position. There we go. You got almost 30 pips on the table. So quick, easy scalp on gold. Just following again our plan and what works for us at A.C.T.Forex. Look us up on a scalp with a decent lot. 30 pips is not a bad result. Now you got 40. Act as in act Aussie? No, not Australian capital territory. Analyze, confirm, trade. Look at that. Spot on. Still not taking a loss on stream, guys. Still not taking a loss for the year. Crazy winning streak. What a start to the year. Well done, guys. Anyone take it? Let me know. Definitely, well, guys, you're rocking. You got 50 pips on the table. You didn't get tagged in? You're kidding me. I definitely got tagged in. 49, 22, 45 is low. So it must be a spread thing. That, man, Tommy, you'd be spewing. Look at that. That is absolutely perfect. So as we can see, it did tag in, guys. It's just a matter of spread. Then you got it in. Nice one. 6% running. Happy to see it. Happy days, guys. Killing it, absolutely destroying it. Yet another winning stream. Making light work of, again, a very simple entry following the rules to a T. Crazy stuff. Alright, so I've closed another partial and I'm just going to let a small runner do its thing. And that becomes win 146 since the start of these streams with 35 losses. Not too shabby. And we still get no love for whatever reason. The scalp, you definitely had enough profit, and it did flip, so as per the rules of the interruption entry. $30.66. Nice one. Brad, W, awesome setup. Justin, well done. Who took the trade? Act rules. Thank you, mate. Thank you. I'm about to get tagged on the runner, but all good. Steve didn't tag me either. Would be something across the waters, across the pond with Seychelles. IC markets. Confirm trade. Thank you, mate. Literally tagged in, and the runner is about to be taken out. Yeah, ooh, so close. It lit up red. Still just in it. Yeah, I'm out. The runner's out. But yeah, absolutely perfect. Literally no drawdown. Absolutely perfect. Dean, I swear I was part of half of those losses too. When I first started watching it, it seemed closer to 60-40 win rate. Nah. No, it's always been really up there, to be honest, mate. I couldn't have been 60-40. I doubt it, because it's probably the trade we take the most on stream, to be honest. But I don't know. Don't accept requests to join a stream. It's too sensitive trading. It's way too sensitive, and in regards to the algo, I could easily lose my stream and get a ban, so I don't let anyone involved unless it's my team, because I can trust those guys. Steve, I was trading my tick mill UK accounts, but it's not quite as good as really. Well, now in the bed, guys, so the sells could present. So quick scalp for the buy, and the sell still could present. Some of you did drop quick and then reject nicely onto the next. Yep, Dean, yeah, it was still up, but that was just the trades I was taking. Oh, okay. Yeah, sometimes you can just jump in, unfortunately, on the wrong ones. You can't, you know, who knows what the deal is going to be. It's going to be a win or loss. No one knows until the end. But bitch, yep, out. Now out of break even, but got the job done. Took some sells. So Jaded, if you want to know anything, you can send me a message. But again, I do not allow requests to join the stream. You have to be a member. The only ones I can trust. Alright, so in regards to, and of course this did not friggin' save. So frustrating. I have to journal all my trades for the members group. I'll draw this. Just let me save this so I can send into the members group shortly. Alright, done. Of course. Anyway. Alright, so what I'll be looking at now on the gold is, so we have now formed support. As I mentioned, a little bit higher up, we've formed support back below that resistance. So this now becomes my potential level of interest to the downside. What I want to see is catalysts are, which is not going to happen in this candle, 15-minute bearish engulfing. Or what we could look for is a 15-minute close below. Start to flip that 5-minute structure bearish, rejecting a higher time frame more resistance that's potentially holding at the minute that we had previously broken out of earlier throughout during the day. So that could signal a deeper sell-off, and that is what I would be looking at had I be going to be sticking around for much longer. But I'm personally not. I'm going to go make some dinner. Got the job done on those buys, and I'm going to take a break and call it a session and pop back on with my team later on. You missed by 3 pips, Josh, on Pepstone. Allow for spread. Oh, really? Tough. Got close. The M31 could be presenting. Ooh. Would have wanted this to close a bit higher up. It's still technically valid, but I'm not going to look for it on the M30. But yeah, anyway, guys. No, I'm out of the buy. Took profits, quick scalp. Had more than 50, I think it was more than 60 pips in the end. I went for Rook, I'm in sells at the same point. That's all good, mate. I'm looking for sells potentially as well moving forward. For Took. Well, I don't know. Again, I got the job done. Just depends. Over here, maybe it's my broker. We've got very tight spreads on IC market, so KWS Multimedia, I guess is buy for today. Alex James, nice setup. Thank you, mate. Always good to see his interruption trades working. Steve, it always is. Dean, close full at 44, then it melted. Nice work, got out the right time. So there you go. Some got triggered in, others didn't. It's just how it is. But anyway, I spoke about what I'd be looking at. Do trade safe if you are trading further into today. If you'd like to know any more about what I do, you can find a link in my bio on TikTok and under below in the description on YouTube. Guys, good session today. Tomorrow I'll be back, same time, same place, my members group. I will see you guys in probably about an hour and 15 from now. I'll take a bit of break and let you guys know. I'll keep you posted. Till then, take care. Cheers, team. Once again, I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye, guys.